Today's segment is brought to you by the Entrepreneurial Effect book, your own virtual board of advisors, everything you wanted to know to start up your company, practical advice from experts such as Denzil Doyle. My name is James Bowen, and I'm pleased to be here with you today, and we're going to be discussing with Denzil Doyle some of his lessons learned. Denny, as you may recall, was the founder here in Canada of Digital Equipment of Canada. He grew that company from himself up to 1,200 people. After that, he started his own venture capital company and is very active on boards of advisors and boards of directors of many tech companies across Canada. He's also the recipient of the Order of Canada. So without further ado, bring to you Denzil Doyle in discussion with Jasmine Bowen. Okay, ready to roll?
Yeah, so where do you want me to go?
Sit here, maybe? Do you want the book on the table?
Yeah.
How are we going to do the book and hide this then?
Okay, well, just leave it there.
Can you see my sheet?
You need to
talk loud. I got hearing aids in, but
Okay.
it still don't work well down.
need to move closer to the table.
Me?
Yeah, both of you need
Both
to move
of me
closer
need
to the
hang
table.
closer to the table.
Yeah, if you want to squeeze in more, Jasmine.
I can. Getting closer. Is that okay?
Yep, go.
Okay, so thank you for joining us today, Denny. We have a couple of questions to ask you. First of all, these days when technology and markets evolve so quickly, do we really need a business plan?
Oh, I think certainly one needs a business plan. So long as you're using somebody else's money, you need a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a great believer in a personal business plan or a personal plan because I think if you just get yourself equipped with basic set of tools in terms of education and skills and so on, and then just take advantage of the opportunities as they come along.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all well and good if it's your own person you're dealing with and your own money you're dealing with, but
Mm-hmm.
the minute you take money from somebody else, you should sit down and write them a business plan, and that becomes a contract between you and the money supplier.
Great. And so how did you plan when you grew digital equipment? What was your idea?
Well, I became a planning freak within weeks of joining digital because I realized that of the half dozen key people that I interviewed with when I got down there, and this was after having quit my nice comfortable government job and so on, and thrown down my white lab coat to become a business person, and I suddenly realized that of the 6 people that I met with after I got down there were 6 different ideas as to what my job was. One person thought I was here to open up the Canadian market, and another person thought I was there to do the administrative work, get the product through customs. Somebody else thought I was going to fix computers, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, whoops, I better get some kind of a contract going with this organization.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down and I wrote a business plan and said, here's where we are today, which was really no place. It turned out that I was their only customer in Canada, and there was no market for their products here to speak of. But nonetheless, I decided to sit down and write a plan as to where I thought we should be in 5 years, and in fact in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, the business plans never work out the way they're written. But the numbers seem to come out about right, so, and in my case they did.
Great. So you obviously have a lot of experience in the Canadian market. So based on that experience, how do you think we can solve the shortage of funding we have in Canada for startup companies?
Funding is a huge problem, and
Yes.
business planning for funding is, there's many reasons why you have a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
When I opened up digital, funding wasn't my problem. I was running a subsidiary of a large multinational company. But if I'm doing a new startup company, I have to find money.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start a high-tech company. You need technology. You need
Yes.
high-tech people, and you need money. And in order to get the money, you've got to write a business plan. It's as simple as that.
So when running your venture capital, what was the most irritating thing you found about the business plans?
Believe it or not, this may seem strange to you, but it's style and substance.
Style, okay.
Yeah, in other words, a business plan that has a half a dozen typos in the front page, no matter how good the technology is, you're dead in the water, you know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and the rationale is that if the person can take the time to take the mistakes out of a business plan, then how is he or she going to write a proposal to somebody when they go out in the selling game, you know? So the style and content is very important. Naturally, the technology has got to be good,
Right.
and the people have got to be good as well. So
Okay.
and it's got to be well described, and it shouldn't be too long. It just drives me crazy to see a business plan that's 40 or 50 pages long. Nobody's
Yes.
going to read that. And an executive summary is extremely important as well. A one-page executive summary, and an executive summary is very different from an introduction, for example. An introduction, well, an executive summary is just that. It's just like an abstract in a technical report. It says what you're going to do. And the introduction sort of says how you're going to do it, and then the rest of the business plan just flows from that.
Great. So you've had a lot of experience, as we mentioned, in the Canadian market. What do we need as Canadians to compete against India and China and the Americans?
Well, we have a lot of the right ingredients. We certainly have an education system that's
Right.
second to none in the world. We got a really good education system. And we always have had, when I studied electrical engineering 50 years ago, I came out and I found that I was just as good as any electrical engineer on the face of the earth, even though I was from a lowly school called Queen's University. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's okay. One last question for you. You gave us a lot of advice about business plans. Do you have any more advice for young entrepreneurs starting out?
Yeah, I think it's you've got to be prepared to work awfully hard at it and to be incredibly dedicated to the venture. Understand your market is extremely well. Don't get too enthused about the technology. In fact, I have a very simple model that technology produces products or services, and products and services address markets. The best business opportunities are those when you have a very little amount of relatively unsophisticated technology, believe it or not, because technology is very difficult to manage and very difficult to develop, so go easy on that stuff is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then get a reasonable number of products out of that technology, and then a broad number of markets, go after a broad number of markets.
Right.
In other words, your pyramid should be like this, you see.
Okay.
Whereas in many cases their pyramid is upside down. They started out as a systems house of some kind or a systems integrator. And in the process they've developed an awful lot of technology along the top here. They have very little of what you could call a real product or a service.
Right.
And then typically you'll find that they've been getting by on selling all their products to the Canadian Space Agency or someplace like that. So that's pretty much a recipe for disaster. It's just not a venture capital play at all. You want your pyramid going this way as opposed to going that way.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed this segment. This was Denzil Doyle for the Entrepreneurial Effect.